So exactly, like, because there's a lot of talk about the Messi, right? And Messi is keeping us again, once the lockdown, it's going to be unlocked down now, the period. Now Messi is all keeping us on the seats, like hooked onto our seats to know what is going to happen to his transfer. So,
sometimes I feel there must be many things regarding Messi. It could be just that version, because Messi is for Barcelona is Messi is Barcelona and Barcelona is Messi, and losing with that big margin of 8 goals, it's very difficult to digest. So I think it could be that a diversion, because if this saga of Messi leaving wasn't there, people would be criticizing Messi about that defeat. So now, just by expressing his desire to leave, the whole talk is about will he leave or stay. It's not more about how big they lost. But again, I feel I have mixed feeling. On one hand, for a player who gave so much to a club and won for them so many trophies single-handedly, it's not a good way to leave with problems and all that. I think Messi deserves a very honorable exit from Barcelona. But he also should have done it in a proper way. It's not just I lost one game, I was criticized. And that's the thing with Messi. I think what Ronaldo, for example, because we always speak Ronaldo, Messi, what Ronaldo had shown maybe better than Messi is the choices, is performing in different environment. Ronaldo have a big name in Manchester United, have a big name in Real Madrid, and now have a big name and broke all the record in Juventus. And let's not forget, have a big name, have won also at the national team level. While Messi, he was always on that comfort zone of Barcelona, idolized, loved. Where Ronaldo, what he had done better is he had won 2 different challenges and imposed himself as the best.
actually, because what could be the reason for them to lose in a, with such difference margin, coach? What is your, analysis on that match?
Well, you had seen football is always in evolution. I remember 2008, 2010, 2012, Spain and Barcelona was ruling the football world. And that brand of football, of tiki-taka and possession, was the everybody was talking about that, and they bring it to a perfection, and they was winning. But then other teams and other coaches, and they found now new things. How to, number one, how to tackle it, and number two, how to win against such a style of football. But I think other teams have progressed in their thinking. They think out of the box. They brought new strategies. The coach of Leipzig, coach of Liverpool, the coach of Bayern Munich, Tuchel, the coach of PSG. All they follow the evolution of football. But if you look with me, Barcelona had stayed where they was in 2008, 10, 12, believing of that brand of football, while others have catch up and gone beyond. And I think it was only a matter of time, because Barcelona for the last 2 years, it wasn't convincing. Plus, you have Barcelona was about, a lot of people talk about Messi, but I think that the departure of players like Iniesta, Xavi have an impact on that midfield. The Messi cannot do everything on his own, and that's proof to us that football is a collective game. You cannot base the team will be always bigger than the players.
Yeah.
So that's how I see the defeat. It was coming.
So they didn't have a backup of the second line, you mean?
Yeah, they didn't think outside that possession tiki-taka football. In fact, if we look now, the best coaches are not the Spanish coaches, the German coaches. Now, Klopp, the coach of Leipzig, who is young, 34, 35, the coach of Bayern Munich, who was assistant of Joachim Löw, the coach of PSG, all these, I mean, the top four teams in the world in Champions League, all mostly Germans, and I think that should be noted. It's no more football is developing. They are the time where the Brazilians was better, then after the Dutch was better, then the Germans, then the Spanish, the French era. So football is progressing a lot and all the time.
Yeah. So we have a couple of coaches who have come in, the Indian coaches, and we have Chitra Gangadharan, and we have other D-licensed coaches also with us. And there are many young coaches who are here with us, so you can just, say hello to them.
Yeah, of course. Hi to everybody. It's always a pleasure to connect with the football community. As you know, I had spent 8-9 years of successful time in India, so I'm always happy to meet the coaches and share with them whatever experiences.
And we have Kali also with us, and we have Girish, who is again a coach from Pune. So he has posted a question for you. So is that Barcelona is much more dependent on Messi, or is it the other way around, he is asked?
Before, a few years back, yes. But now, with the Messi still have the same skills, but maybe doesn't have the same pace, the same speed, because Messi is about electric dribbling, about power. He's short, strong, very, very skillful, very strong on one. But let's not forget to our esteemed coaches that when you dribble, there is the skill of dribbling. But even when you beat, for example, you make a feint of showing like you're going to go right, but you're going to push the ball with the outside left. The opponent, the defender, you will catch him on the first few seconds by the feint. He will be biased and go on the right. You will push the ball on the left. But if you doesn't have the other thing that comes beside the skill is the physical side, which is the pace and the speed, especially on those few meters. A few years back, Messi will do the skill followed by electric speed as well. Now that is slowing down, and if you notice, add to that every time the opposition play against Barcelona, they have a plan for this. Pressurized by 2-3 players, not leaving him at the space, cutting the supply line that will come, so as many balls as possible will not reach him. So, and plus what I discussed with you about the evolution of football and other ways, what can do Messi? So finally, we can say that the players like Messi, like Ronaldo, like Neymar, they can do differences in some matches. But if you want to win consistently, I think it will come down to the team performance.
Team. Exactly.
So I still believe that Barcelona will be always bigger than Messi. Let's not. Barcelona will survive. Barcelona is a club who have maybe 100 years. The history of previous before Messi in Barcelona, there was other players who had a big impact in the history of. You just. I mean, I had the privilege to be on their museum in Barcelona, in Nou Camp, and all that. They have a big history. So we will miss Messi. It will come times where Messi era will end. He will retire, like did Maradona, like did Pelé. But the club will stay. And just regarding Messi, another point I want to mention is if you notice, the football is a professional world, and I noticed that most of the players, no matter how big they are, when they are run, when the manager, their career is run by their family. Like Messi is his father. I think Ronaldo, his brother or father. If you remember, Anelka was his brothers.
Yes.
I feel somewhere or the other they get it wrong, because we are talking about professional career, and when you talk about family, there is the sentiment, there is the feelings, there is the love, and life teaches me the best decisions are taken by the brain, not by the emotions or by the heart. And I think it could be also because all these players who their career is run by their families, somehow, somewhere or the others, they got into conflict with the club. They got it wrong with the people, because if Messi have a professional agent, he will talk professionally. But when his father go to defend him, if the president say only a small word against Messi or something, he will take it personally, because it's his son. I think that's also something that could be. We know, for example, for Anelka, his brothers, and the whole football community, international football community, was blaming the brothers for what, because he moved quickly from club to club. Always there was problems, a lot of clubs in his career, and I think that could come down to the fact that there is emotions involved rather than professional decisions.
Exactly. So Girish also has mentioned, even after Ronaldo left Real Madrid, the club is still doing good in his absence.
Exactly. I mean, the players, no matter how big he is, the career is limited. 10, 15 years, even 20 years career, and it's over. But the club is always bigger than the individual and than the players.
So we have one more question related to it. This is from Mazhar. He is from Tamil Nadu, and he was heading the technical development in Tamil Nadu, and I mean to say the grassroots development, and he was behind the development of baby leagues in Tamil Nadu, which was happening, and he was doing a very good job, and now he is just shifting to do his FIFA course, and which is sponsored by AFF and FIFA. So he is here, and he's just put a question to us, and how important is the match data in the upcoming decade, and will the science trump the role of a coach and manager? Will the team be more relevant than just a manager?
Well, I think the data and the analysis have already a big impact in football now. I mean, there is no team that doesn't work with the video analyst and the data, and a lot of tools are available for coaches right now. But we should not forget the raw talent. We should not get away completely and make the football and even coaching football as mechanical or too much computerized. Still, the eye of a coach is important. The feeling of a coach about a player. Maybe sometimes as a coach, you watch two players. When you look at the data and the informations and the stats about both of them, A have better stats than B. But sometimes as a coach, you go with your feeling that for that specific match, the B players will give you better because the motivation may be higher. So it's not. I would say the human side of football is still the main thing, and the data and computer and video should be just as just to assist us in our job. Should not take over. And like I would select the 11 starters based on statistics and based on how many shots and how many off target, on target, because football is so unpredictable that sometimes you go with the feeling. Sometimes you have a plan for a match and still 10 minutes you're losing. It happened to me, especially with young players. Young players. If we go with the data and stats and video analysis, maybe no coach would throw in young player. Two players come to my mind in my time in India. Gilbert de Oliveira was a young player from the youth of Sardokar. His first starting game was against Chirag and in Goa. And if I go only with informations and data, he have no place. He's young, he's raw. But going with my feeling, I felt he's ready, and I felt he's excited, and I felt I gave him the confidence. And he started that game. If I'm not mistaken, maybe he still holds the record of the fastest goal in the I-League, because within seconds he scored. And on that game we won, I think 3-1, and he scored 2 goals, and he was man of the match. So you see, it's still the eye of the coach, the management, and the motivation also have. The second player that comes to my mind is a derby game, the famous derby Mohun Bagan East Bengal that we won with 5 goals, and it was a historical derby because it was the revenge of Mohun Bagan for, I think, a game in 70s where they had lost. East Bengal have beat Mohun Bagan by 5 goals, and now in my Twitter, I still remember the date because of the message I get every year. On 25th October, the Mohun Bagan fans, they still celebrate that match. Chidi have scored 4 goals on that match. So the 2 heroes that was on that game was Chidi and Karim Bencherifa. And on that game, Manish Matani, a young player that came from Delhi, was on trial. He had maybe one of the lowest salaries, and his first starting game in the I-League was in the derby.
Oh.
So and I know, because coaches, and this is my advice to coaches, you have to be courageous, brave. If we go by the data, by scared, by what the chairman gonna think or what the fans gonna think, then they don't need us, coaches. But that game, if we had lost that game, for sure I will have the blame why I put a player without experience. But that game, we had won by 5. As I said, Chidi scored 4 goals, and Manish Matani scored, I think, the 2nd goal in his first starting in a derby. So you can imagine. I'm sure you ask Manish Matani, he will never forget that game, even though also Gilbert de Oliveira. So yes, the data, the video analysis is important. When I was in Pune, I had a professional video analyst. We work on it individually as a team, but I still believe that the human quality of a coach is also very important. It's the priority number one.
So, what is the major difference between Indian football and the Moroccan football or any other country when you take, where we Indians are lacking?
We should be positive. I mean, I receive always this kind of questions about what we are lacking. India have a lot of things also positive. Have a lot of things better than many countries. For me, what India need is, I would call it the popularity of the game, because people. I don't agree when people said, "Oh, the second populated country in the world, we never been to the World Cup." But I'm asking a question. There's billions of people, but how many of them play football? How many? Is it? I don't think there is enough numbers. Maybe you're gonna find the number of licensed players in India less than some countries who are only 40 million people or 60 million people. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
There are some countries where the game is very popular. And I think that's what ISL had helped to bring, is to make the game popular. But I still believe it needs more popularity. The ISL helped in bringing the game to all over India, but we need more. And also, as the one of the high officials of Bangalore FC, I forget the name. I have read a tweet of his, and I agree with him fully. It is time for India to have a good system of relegation, and because this current system will not bring it helped, but it is time to make it better, because the relegation, the promotion, that's what is it gives competition. It gives for example, now, because there is no relegation, quickly some teams, they know they will not win the league, so they have nothing to play for. So the number of games, not all competitive, but whenever there is the champion will play, for example, AFC, the second will play FC Cup, the third will play some kind of tournaments with big prize money, and then on the bottom, the two will relegate, the third will play playoff of relegation, and on the division below, which is I-League now, same thing, and more divisions below. Then you have a high number of games, and all of them very competitive. That's what brings our players to be always fit, to be used to the high tempo game, and that's the way forward. But India definitely have the possibility to have a good margin of progression to bring the game forward.
I think even as you mentioned that you have your under 15 women's team, which is a residential, which is an elite team. I think we are also lacking in that also. In case if we start building up a team like that, then definitely India also could make it.
I would say we have that, but because we have also a league of youths. So I don't think that by just selecting the best 20 or 30 players who have 15, put them in residential camp, will make us progress. No, I insist on the numbers of players, because the more the base is big, the more you have a better elite. If you're gonna select from 30 players, it's not the same if you're gonna select the best from thousands of players. The selection of thousands will be top class. The selection of 30 players will be okay, even if you do residential and all that. Because how many players, if you look at the top clubs now, take Lyon, who is the best youth development team. They develop a lot of youngsters. They are the best in France right now in developing young players. They will start, they have a soccer school in the football school 8 to 12. You will have maybe thousands playing for the club. Then they will have the youth system. Then they will have maybe an academy. So you have thousands of players who are at the club starting football, and all of them decent and selected based on certain criteria. But from those thousands, how many will play at the highest level in the first team of Lyon? Maybe 3, maybe 2, and maybe another 3 will play in another higher club, in other clubs. So it's very complicated process. It needs a lot of patience, but a lot of investment. Not doing 30 best players in a residential camp and you're gonna have 30 good players after. Some of them will quit because they don't like football anymore. Some of them will maybe get injured. Some of them will not make it. They was good at 15, but when they reach 18 or 19, they are not good enough anymore. So you may end up with 1 or 2 players. 1 or 2 players are not enough. That's why we have only 1 Chetri and 1 Sandesh and 1. So we need the popularity of the game. We need more people to play football, more clubs, more leagues, first division, second division, third division, fourth division, regional leagues. It needs to be a dynamic.
So we have a lot of other young coaches. Of course, you have given an advice for all the young coaches. So there are few players also. So what advice would you like to give the players?
Okay, for the players, very important. The player who succeeds is a player, of course, who has talent, who is skillful. But as a coach, I always like the players who quickly pick up what the coach expects from him. I always told my players, I advised them. I remember, I think in Salgoka. In Salgoka, we had this example, this discussion. I said, I said, and I give them my example. When I was with Salgoka, I tell them that while I'm working with Salgoka, I want to make sure that I have good relationship. What are as a coach, the coach, in French we say fond de commerce. Let's say somebody who have, let's say a Nike store. They sell sports articles, shirts, shoes. So I explained to the players that he need customers that shop to be successful, to gain money. So I told him, if the security guy, if I'm a customer coming to that shop, and the security guy who is near the door didn't open for me, I opened myself. He didn't even say good morning or anything. So I opened and I entered. And while looking for article, the helper who is there, the salesman or sales lady, didn't bother too much about it. I had to call her to ask her, please help me. And then when she come, I want to try some shoe. So she brought me one. I tried it. I didn't like the design. And then when I told her to bring me another design, I felt she wasn't like happy to do that. I said, will I come back to that store to buy again? The answer is no. But let's take another example, another store who as soon as you walk in, security guy, hello sir, and he opened for you the door. And when you come in, as soon as you enter, salesperson is there with you, can bring, doesn't matter, he will bring 10 shoes down and bring you 3 sizes, and we'll end up with 15 shoes and at your disposal, helping you even to wear your shoe and all that. You're so happy. You're gonna buy and come back. So as the coaches, who are our customers? The management and the players. But the players, who are their customers? The management and the coaches. You understand? So
Yes.
the players need to always, I advise my players, I say, I cannot guarantee you what's happening next year. Maybe I don't want you. And I would tell you, I'm sorry, next year you will not sign with me. So when we play games, before the game, if I see you discussing with the opponent coach, I will not like it. But I advise you, when the game is over, go to the bench and shake hand to the other coach. He's your customer. Maybe next year, because of that handshake, he will say, this is a very disciplined player. I like this player. Especially you play good, you go shake his hand, tell him thank you, or good game, and you walk. You didn't discuss with him, you didn't cheat your team, you didn't cheat your coach. But you, like the shop, you open, yes, this is very important. And many players, they don't notice that. Even when they are working, I tell you a story. I will not name the player. In Salgoka, I had a problem with one player, very well known. And then he made a problem with me also. And he thought he make everything possible so he leave and doesn't work with me. And I said, okay. So we didn't live in a good term. And for him, he thought, okay, I'm gone. I finished with that coach. I don't like him. He went to a club, another club, signed. Half of the season, I'm no more with this club. I signed for his club again. You understand? And it was, I tell you, because I know some players in that club. He was calling me and we was laughing. I knew I would not hold grudges. But his teammates was teasing him, especially the senior ones. And when they talk to me, they say, Coach, when I come in and this, and we laugh, me and the senior players, we laughing. So how is the situation? He said, Coach, he's scared, he's worried. So then when I came to the club, one of the first thing I did is a meeting with him, and I told him I would not hold grudges for you. I hope you don't do this. Never close a door. Never say never. Never. You fight with me in that club, and you look at God how He make things. I'm your coach again. So what you gonna do? You gonna pack and leave again? Where? Another club? What about if I go to that club? So take care of your coaches. Quickly pick up what they want from you, because especially tactically, a lot of players have talent, but they don't tend to understand what the coach expects from them. And the coach don't like that. Even if you have talent, you didn't understand his system, you didn't understand his tactics, one day or the other you'll be dropped on the bench because you don't pick up quickly what you want, and you keep repeating and repeating. And I tell you, I talked about Gilbert de Oliveira, that young boy. One of his best quality was this. I explain, okay guys, we're gonna do this. When the ball is here, you need to be here. When the ball is here, so I explain. Done. He's like this, with his eyes wide open on me and with me 100%. And when I run the game, he's one of the first who will pick what I wanted, and I'm so happy he done it. He was in the position where I want him to be, and coaches like this kind of players who's skills but also smart and pick up quickly and focus. Yeah, so that's my advice for players.
So thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for sharing so much of knowledge, which is, really, we didn't know how the time has gone by, so much of knowledge we have gained. So thank you so much for being with us, and all the best to you. I'm sure, whichever club is going to take you in, they must be very lucky.
Thank you so much.